I spoke with John Lipsitz from Lipsitz And Ponterio. They are an amazing law firm in Western New York that have been doing phenomenal work helping fight for justice for those affected by mesothelioma and asbestos-related diseases. And they've been together for 25 years as a firm, working in this area for longer than that. And they have a wealth of knowledge and a huge library of evidence. And I spoke with John Lipsitz about how they gather their evidence. This is really interesting. Check it out on AM Buffalo. Good morning.
For over 25 years, the attorneys at Lipsitz and Ponterio have led the way in shaping asbestos law in New York State. John Lipsitz joins us now on AM Buffalo.
John, you and Michael are celebrating 25 years as a firm, but you have both been working together for longer than 25 years.
We started working together in 1985. We were working at another firm, and they had a substantial caseload of asbestos disease cases, including asbestosis cases and mesothelioma cases. But at that time, you couldn't really pursue them in New York State courts because the statute of limitations really cut those cases right off at the knees. But about a year and a half after we began working together, the legislature in New York passed a statute which opened up a window allowing old cases to proceed and new cases to go forward.
You guys were at the very beginning of these kind of legal cases. You must have gathered so much evidence over the years.
So I remember spending 3 or 4 days in an old dusty warehouse on Hurdle Avenue, going through probably hundreds of cardboard boxes filled with invoices that went back 20 or 30 years, very dusty. I remember going through them and saying, wow, there must be hundreds of different job sites represented by these thousands and thousands of invoices. What if we ended up with clients over the next couple of years from these different job sites? We ought to make sure we keep these materials. And we were able to digitize them, and they form part of a library of information that we have, which we are constantly drawing on to help new clients. Mike, for example, got over to Bethlehem Steel with a photographer for an inspection before the coke ovens, which were huge structures, were torn down about 20 some years ago. And we have a whole series of pictures depicting the coke ovens, which are very useful for current clients who say, yeah, I worked on this level, or I worked on top of the coke oven. So that kind of stuff is very helpful.
Wow, I'm seeing a new TV show procedural, Lipsitz And Ponterio, solving the cases of Western New York.
If you do that, I would rather have you film me arguing a case in the Court of Appeals in Albany rather than looking like I had just come out of a dust storm.
But no, I mean, jokes aside, it's just such an amazing resource that you have. And the reality is there is a tragic history in Western New York with a lot of factories and people who worked there, and not just the workers in the factories, but their families were affected, people who lived in the neighborhoods around the factories.
Once you have a diagnosis of a disease linked to asbestos exposure, you need to consult an attorney, and I think you should look for an attorney with experience in the area. And we have experience in that area. 35 years on my part and Mike's part, and you look at the lawyers in our firm, and well over 100 years if you consider the depth of experience that we have.